Hey guys, Apoc here, and today we're going to be going for a new trophy high on ladder, playing our 2.6 Hog Cycle deck. These are my first matches as a level 13, and we're going to be trying to push to 5,500 trophies for Master 3 and get that lightning bottle symbol. A couple notes about Hog Cycle. There's many ways to play a Hog Cycle, but for those that don't have max cards, I really recommend playing Archers over Musketeer or Electro Wizard on ladder. As we don't really want our Musketeer to get fireballed. They'd be getting a lot of value on that plus chipping the tower, and you not being able to keep your defensive troop. The Archers allows you to save that elixir, as well as it's also not vulnerable to lightning. It's also pretty strong versus Graveyard. In challenges and tournaments, there's some substitutions you can make. First, you could play Ice Golem instead of Knight to lower the elixir cost even more, and that does help stopping Skeleton Army in Graveyard. Secondly, you could substitute those Archers for either Electro Wizard or Musketeer, as they won't be instantly dead to a Fireball. And finally, you could substitute that Inferno Tower in for a Cannon. This really improves the Lava Hound matchup, but I do like Cannon better versus Giant Golem and other Hog Rider decks. As you can actually get a second one down versus those big push golem decks after they lightning. So that can be a really strong defense and actually pull the golem back away from your tower. So let's hop into some replays. The first one is versus ClashOnGan. He was a YouTuber that I definitely was watching pretty regularly before I started streaming. So let's hop right in. So we got a pretty defensive hand to start. So we're going to start with splitting Archers in the back. It's a nice defensive move that is difficult to get a positive elixir trade against. He opens up with a Giant in the back. So we'll open up with the defensive Cannon so that we don't waste any elixir. And then we'll start with a push on the other side. So he plays his Barbarians off to the side. Usually you want to play them right in the front so that they body block the Giant, the Hog Rider. We still have our cannon up. We'll keep it up for another second and freeze that Barbarian, and we'll use our Knight to distract that Bowler so that we can get a start of another counter push. So we want to get towards getting rid of the tombstone so we can get our Hog in. So right after we get our first hit, we start moving towards the tower, and we get our Hog right on the tower, and our Archer is hitting his Mega Minion. The other one was hitting the tower. So now we are back to defending. We got our Cannon for his Giant. We'll freeze that. And we only allow one Giant hit on the tower. So all in all, a pretty good trade. We did take some lightning damage, but we got a nice lead going here. So this is where you would body block with the Barbarians. It only allows one hit. Okay, so we don't have a great answer to these Barbarians right now. We were a little late with this Knight deployment as we didn't pull. So we do wind up suffering 2 Barbarian strikes. So I do want to drop that slightly sooner. That Knight's not going to be a threat anyways. Okay, so we'll start with Archers in the back and start our next push. Now that we see he's got Bowler and Tombstone, we see that probably not going to get a Hog through there. So we'll just fireball it down. So we can start setting up our defense, and let's get this cannon going. So we'll Knight onto his Giant. That Bowler ate our skeletons, but Fireball cleans everything up. We have a cannon to stop. Now we see that we're still probably not going to get our Hog through, as the Bowler plus the Tombstone would make it extremely difficult. So we're going to log this all back. So, and then we'll Fireball this whole push down. We did miss that Mega Minion, but with the Giant going down, our little Archer is taking down that that Mega Minion, our Knight takes down the Bowler, and now we just have to spell cycle back all the way down to 6 and log for the win. So a nice defensive game. Didn't really take too many giant hits. You can see the power of the cannon, as well as the lightning was really the main source of his damage. Okay, so let's hop into this next replay. So this is versus Hog Freeze. I really like the matchup of Hog Cycle with Cannon versus Hog Freeze. I do like this because we do have a lower cycle point than they do. It allows us to keep those cannons flowing, keep those skeletons flowing, keeping their hog off of us. So we did get a surprise freeze there, but was ready with the Knight. Wound up taking no damage. We do have a very slight elixir lead, so we can start cycle back to our next hog. We find that he has his hog. Once we saw that his hog went down, there was only going to be low elixir answers, so we were able to prediction log and hit the goblins. He prediction zap, which was impressive. Had to cycle back to our Knight really quickly, make sure that those mini P.E.K.K.A hits, which hit for like 700, hit like a truck on your tower. You never want to get hit by those. Okay, so we'll just clean up these minions with our archers and prepare for our next push. Before we were able to get that hog down, he plays a princess. We weren't able to get any chip damage there. So we use our skeleton to distract and our ice spirit to pause so that our cannon cleans up. Another perfect defense. So we're up about 1300 here. We haven't taken any damage yet. So let's get started with our next hog push. So we're going to set up a bigger one with the archers in the back. Okay, so we now know that he was doing the same, setting up for a bigger push with his mini P.E.K.K.A. So we'll drop our Knight, cycle to our skeletons to prevent our Knight getting too damaged. And now we can get our hog push in. So we took out the princess with the log. I thought I was going to prediction the fireball, stopping any minions or goblins, but did miss. But we were able to get the chip damage on the tower as well as one hog hit. So cycle back. Unfortunately, once again, we weren't able to predict that fireball and that log, but we were able to once again fireball down that princess. So hog pull. We were placing the cannon that far up to make sure that he doesn't freeze our cannon at the same time. So we'll log down to get some damage, and we'll use our skeletons to distract, keeping our archer up. Let's get for that last push. So once again, cycling fireballs. This time he doesn't have freeze in rotation, so we don't have to worry about that. So we'll finally get some value on our log. His princess does make it to the tower. He did zap our skeletons. So we're finally ready here. Getting our hog to the tower. He wasn't able to get that freeze off, and that finally ends it. With a long match, but as you see, all those defenses really pay off. Oops. Okay, so let's hop into this next game versus Bill from Adult. So we're ready with another hog in our opening hand. So we can start. So we can always open up with that. We want to push it to the right, make sure that if they do place a spawner in the opposite lane, it does stop it. We were able to get a nice value ice spirit hitting those minions plus the tower. So we'll open up with cannon. and we'll fireball everything down. That minion did connect to the tower, unfortunately, as well as the musketeer, but we're opened up about tied. He does have a little bit of an elixir lead, but he'll eat the one archer shot. So now we got 100. Now we got 100 damage. Okay, so we find out that he's going to open with the tombstone. So we'll start with a bigger push and start with a knight in the back. He opens up with a mega minion. So we'll just skeletons in the back to hold out. We will log down this tombstone. So hopefully we can get a hog push in, but with the musketeer there's really not place for a great value. So, but we do get great value here. We'll fireball everything down. So knight plus skeletons will clean up this this giant. We finally clean up that musketeer. He poisons us down for his damage lead. But now we ready for finally for a hog counterattack. And we'll get a couple hits off here, giving us a nice 600 point lead, as well as we're basically tied in elixir. So we'll start with the defensive archers in the back. So he plays a mega minion in the back, setting up for another big push. We did go for an aggressive fireball, hitting both mega minion and musketeer. We'll log back that musketeer for some additional chip, getting rid of her chip. Our archers will finish off that mega minion. That's a nice defense. Now we're ready for our next push, and we can fireball down that musketeer again, getting some extra chip on the tower. He giants in front. We'll log back, getting rid of that musketeer. We'll use our archers to clean up those minions. And since he's zapped, our skeletons can do a lot of work against that giant for another positive trade. Cannon plus the skeletons takes down a giant pretty well. Okay, so we'll log down that tombstone so we can get our hog to the tower, but once again, we weren't able to get a hit off. So all the way down to 700. Pretty much realize at this point we're probably not going to get more hits off. As in double elixir, he's able to just cycle. So we use our knight to block that musketeer. Once again, we're cleaned up. So now we'll just start our spell cycle. Under 400. So log, cycle, fireball, and that'll be the end. So I think we only took one giant hit that whole game. So that was pretty good. We got one more replay to go to. And this replay was to get over 5,500. And versus Son Goku. He's one of the top players in Brazil. And I faced him actually almost every season, it feels like, in ladder. So we're facing a very different deck here. I'm not sure I've faced this much before. So he starts with Goblin Gang, I start with Hog. We are able to get one hit in. We'll use our Knight to get rid of this Goblin Gang and clean up. And he's got a second set of goblins coming across the river. Knight's able to clean those up too, which is nice. So what we're doing here is we're cycling to our log, protecting our archers, while able to log down that princess as well as these elite barbs. We'll distract the elite barbs with some skeletons and then finish it off with the knight, getting a little chip damage along the way. So we get a surprise minion horde here, unfortunately. We were still able to get one hit in, which is beautiful. And then our archers will clean up these, archers plus skeletons will clean up this little push he has. So we'll just let him kill our archers instead of logging right away. We will wait until the princess is in front of the tower so that we can log and get the chip damage. The chip damage is extremely important in this deck, as time can be of the essence. This is a very defensive deck. So with him dropping that Elixir Collector in the back, we'll go for a very aggressive push. And we were really able to make him pay straight for taking the rest of his tower. So we'll distract with our skeletons, archers will clean up, and then we'll finish off with the knight, keeping our archers up. So this time Prince is in the other lane. Once again, we're able to chip the tower. Okay, so this time we'll need to use the cannon. We'll want to distract with pretty much everything, keep the cannon up as long as we can, and get rid of these elite barbs off the tower. Or keep those elite barbs off the tower. We did suffer some damage, but overall it was a nice trade. And we really don't need to do anything else but defend here. So we'll just fireball everything down there. He's got miner on the tower, but that's okay. We'll just get those skeletons to finish off that princess. We did miss our ice spirit here, but once again he overcommits and we were able to fireball down that big push. So at the end, we'll just kill that miner with the knight and end the game off. It's a nice solid match for Son Goku. And that puts us at our new trophy high at 5,512. As you see, those were my most recent games. And we get into the new draft chest, which is only a few days away. This new draft chest has 35 epics and 175 rares, so really excited to be getting that. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, I appreciate all your support, and if you could hit that subscribe button, really appreciate it. I hope to see you guys next time, and we'll do some more ladder pushing as well as some grand challenges. See you guys soon.